Yeah, it's like right here.
All right. And 3, 2, welcome into another episode of The Rebound. Courtney Cox and Darren Hartwell here. Welcome on in. We were just noticing that it looks like day and night. Our lighting is definitely off, but we will figure that out.
There's just the light shining down on me.
Honestly, you look like a beacon of light, and I look like not good here. But here we are. If you're listening along and not watching, sorry that you can't see this, but you should tune in on YouTube or Facebook or Nesson.com, and you can watch what we're talking
all over
about.
the place. Yeah.
We sure are. But thanks for tuning in, whether or not you're watching or just listening. But a big week in the NBA. We say that every week.
No,
It's like another big week.
things are getting exciting though.
They are.
Now's the point in the season where you start to get some games under your belt. You have a little sample size. Some teams start separating from one another.
This is true. We're seeing like the good from the bad.
Like pre-Christmas, once it gets close to Christmas, that's when you really start seeing some stuff.
Right. Also, we are not doing a handshake this week because I am under the weather.
Oh man, yeah, we're just
like
rotating back and forth.
Not gonna say Darren got me sick. Not gonna say he got me sick, but that's to be debated. All right. Well, let's talk about the standings. Top 3 in the East. We've got the Celtics. They're rolling 24-6. We have seen 2 bad losses since the last time. Well, 1 bad loss. The Spurs isn't a bad loss.
Yep.
The Bulls, we'll get into that. It was a terrible loss. It was one of those nights where I was following along and then kind of went away from the game, and then the final score came to my phone, and I was like...
It was an eye-opener.
It's like, am I reading this correct? Is this a typo? Anyways, 24-6. Looking good.
Kind of a testament to how well they started. That they lose 2 out of 3 in the road, and they're still basically 2 or 3 games up over the Cavs,
right?
Who like you said, so they're 20-8 right now. So they're still behind after the Celtics scuffle a little bit.
And then a huge drop to the Raptors, who are 18-8. The bottom 3 in the Eastern Conference, we've got the Hornets 10-17, the Bulls 7-20. But they are on a 4-game win streak, so
they were 3-20 at one point.
Yeah, they're trending in the right direction. In December, we'll see if that sticks. The Hawks are in at last 6-21. There's no coming back.
Well, yeah, they're strong position for the lottery right now. Worst team in the NBA, so looking good for that that draft. That's the thing about the NBA. There's a silver lining about being the worst. You got some good prospects coming up in the 2018 draft. Maybe they have their eye on Michael Bagley out of Duke. So pretty big disparity right now. There's a lot of teams in the middle, but if you look at the top 3, basically the top 2 right now, Celtics and Cavs, and then it's everyone else.
Well, it's funny because you look at the Celtics and the Hawks stats, and if you basically reverse them, they're each other's.
They're kind of foils to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now let's go to the West. Out West, we've got top 3 Rockets, who are honestly incredible. James Harden, incredible. We'll jump into that deeper later on in the show. But the Rockets are a scary team. I might even say they might be the scariest team in the NBA right now.
Yeah, they're looking pretty much unbeatable. James Harden is taking his game to new heights. You can make all sorts of rocket puns with them shooting into the atmosphere and all that, but we'll avoid that. But just the fact that they're still ahead of the Warriors, they're keeping pace in that first place seed, while the Warriors just keep winning. The Warriors have won 7 in a row, so they're hot. But the Rockets are just at another level right now. So I think this point in the season, you got to take them seriously.
Right. 22-4 is their record. 11-game win streak right now, so the Rockets doing well. Warriors 22-6, 7-game win streaks. They're right behind them. This is going to be a battle. This is going to be something that will be very interesting come the end of the season, come playoff time. These 2 teams are extremely talented, so will be something that we'll all definitely be watching. The Spurs 19-9. They look good. We've seen them. They've 1-1 against the Celtics.
Right there.
So interesting there. Bottom 3, we've got the Suns 9-21, a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, that the whole Eric Bledsoe trade didn't really work out for. I mean, they pretty much have no chance this year. They're going to be in that lottery mix, but amazingly, there's still 2 teams below them right now.
Absolutely, the Mavs 8-20, and the Grizzlies 8-20 as well. A 5-game losing streak there. Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, the NBA is so polar opposite. You're either super good or super bad.
Yep, and Celtics fans will probably be disappointed that the Lakers right now aren't in that super bad category. You remember the trade, that trade on draft day. the Celtics get the Lakers pick in 2018 if it's between 2 and 5. And right now, the Lakers are 10 and 16, so they would have the number 9 pick right now. If the season ended today and there was no lottery system, they would be number 9. So, Celtics fans may want the Lakers to get a little bit worse, but, if the way you phrase it, I guess, is they have a lot of competition
right.
to be the worst team. The Grizzlies, after firing David Fizdale, they're basically mailing it in. It looks like, 5-game losing streak, like you mentioned. The Mavs, they have Dennis Smith, but still not a whole lot going on there. Suns are very young, so there's going to be those teams are going to be down there for a while.
It also stinks when you look at basketball compared to other sports. Like Giants fans this season, they're all like, okay, Giants, just lose out so that we know that we're the worst team and we'll get that number 1 pick. NBA season's long. You can't just be like, lose out the rest of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And
so it's a tough
playing 82
one.
games.
And losing every night.
And you don't have a sure chance of getting that pick because there's a lottery.
Absolutely. All right, now let's talk about the Celtics. They lost to the Bulls and Spurs, like I said, since the last time we talked. Maybe we jinxed them because we were like, oh, they're doing so great against the Western Conference, and they go and the Spurs
and
hand them a tough loss, not as bad as the Bulls.
Yeah, I think, the Spurs game was an awesome game.
Right.
Just in that aspect. Manu Ginobili still doing it at, I believe he's 40 years old, hits a last second shot to seal the win for them. It's tough to play in San Antonio. The Celtics have a pretty grueling schedule right now. They've been playing a lot of games, and that was a tough one to swallow, but I think the bigger news is them getting blown out to the Bulls. I think that was kind of a situation, though, where you don't want to say there are ever scheduled losses, but, resting a lot of guys. Kyrie's out, Al Horford, limited. So I think they kind of didn't have their stars. It's just, basically their backups playing. But, the Bulls are the Bulls. I don't think you should necessarily lose by that much. Maybe it's a close game, and the Celtics, one of the Celtics calling cards is that they always battle and they always, are in games, and this was not the case.
Going back to the Spurs loss, our friend Kayla, we thought she was our friend of the podcast, Kayla Griffin, being the first to she's the team reporter, guys. So, she's going to do this. Tweeting out immediately that buzzer beater at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Stab to the heart, Kaylee, if you're watching this.
Mm-hmm. Twist of the knife.
We see what's going on here. So they bounced back when they came home. Nuggets, big win last night. It was a tough game to watch. And to be completely honest, the Garden's been rocking all season long. Last night, not so much. It's kind of lackluster. And it was a close game. At the very end, people were giving the MVP chance to Kyrie, but overall, for a final score 124-118, it didn't seem like it in the Garden. It seemed very...
I think the Nuggets are an interesting team because they actually have some talented players, but they're not really big-name guys. Like, the Nuggets kind of fly under the radar, and you have Gary Harris had a game high 36 points, but nobody really talks about Gary Harris. Right. And they have, Emmanuel Mudiay, Jamal Murray, some talent, but they're not really A-list stars. On the Celtics side, you also have, Marcus Morris was out, Al Horford was out, so the Celtics kind of had to grind this one out. But yeah, I think the Nuggets are weird. They kind of fly under the radar. So testament to the Celtics, The Nuggets were scoring a lot, and the Celtics usually don't play in those high-scoring games. They usually play good defense, but they just outscored them.
And it was a complete testament to what we've been saying all season long. It was, the first 3 quarters, the Celtics looked kind of terrible. And then that fourth quarter, they come out and win down the stretch. Kyrie Irving, 33 points, 63% shooting.
Yep.
It was the highest. I think it was like 59.5% as a team.
Yeah.
And it was their highest of the season. They have the best record in the NBA. That's no surprise. Jaylen Brown, 26 points. They stepped up big. Marcus Smart and Aaron Baines were in the starting lineup with Morris and Horford out. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't look like the same team, obviously. A little bit beat up at the moment. Jaylen Brown, like I said, he had a great game. He talked a lot about his contacts. He was wearing his contacts during the game.
Yep.
These are the contacts that caused the eye inflammation. He had to sit against the Mavs. He was like, oh, yeah, I can see. Like,
also led to a great Brad Stevens pun in the post game.
Specs.
The specs. Talking about the spectacles. We'll let you go. That story's on Nesson.com.
That is.
Plug right there. Go check that out.
And he was so animated too. He like looks around. He's like.
He looked at the camera. He looked right in the camera.
Yeah.
It was great. I think, if you look at the win over the Nuggets and the loss to the Bulls, it just really accentuates how important Kyrie Irving is to this team. I think that's probably my biggest takeaway. Kyrie's out against the Bulls, and they just completely lay an egg. They can't get it together on offense. I think it was 85 points, whatever they scored against the Bulls. And then in the fourth quarter, the Celtics are going back and forth against the Nuggets, and just give the ball to Kyrie. And, you saw that a lot in the fourth quarter. He kind of just takes over, and, it's not him shooting every time. Sometimes he's dribbling and dishing and making plays, but just to have a fourth quarter guy like that, Isaiah Thomas was that guy last year. That was great to have. Big reason why the Celtics, were the #1 seed, but Kyrie's doing it this year probably at an even higher level.
Right, and it was the second time of the season that the Celtics had 2 of their starters score 25-plus points. The first time was against Atlanta, so nice to see that for the starters. So let's talk a little bit about what happened after the game. We talked about it a little bit. Jaylen Brown talked about his eyes, where they stand, what's going on with them coming up. So here's what he had to say after the game.
I feel like sometimes not saying anything is best. Yeah, a million different people. I was rookie last year, and that was one of the most frustrating things. Like when you're having a bad game or a tough day, it's a lot of people that want to help. And then you're hearing things from 20 different people, and sometimes that can be too much, it'd be overwhelming. So sometimes, he knows what he has to do. Jayson knows how to play basketball, and he has people that's in his ear. And just giving them my experience after everybody is done, getting in his ear and in front of his face. I know I used to get frustrated last year with that. Like, I'll have everybody, including people in the fans, telling me what I need to do to be better. So he's probably going through the same thing. So he'll be fine. Just take a deep breath, continue to play basketball, just continue to keep his confidence high and be fine.
So that was Jaylen Brown after the game. Played well, like I said, his eyes, everything looked good. But he talked about Jayson Tatum, because Jayson Tatum had a terrible game against the Bulls. But he bounced back. He looked good against the Nuggets. But it was nice to see him say, he's going to be fine. I think that they would all say that. One bad game for a player, not the end of the world.
Yeah, I think it is tough, though, at the NBA level, especially when you're 19 years old, to take the criticism, have a tough night like that, and bounce back. I think that says a lot about Tatum. It seems like I think that's his advantage. A lot of these top picks end up going on lottery teams who are bad teams. Tatum's got a great supporting cast around him, and this team is winning games, so I think that definitely helps his development.
Side note there, Jaylen Brown was wearing a t-shirt that said, "Mind your business, stay in your lane." If you were wondering what was written on his t-shirt, that is a Baller brand t-shirt.
Yeah. Interesting branding there.
Very. So Jayson Tatum, if we're going to talk about clothes, he was wearing a Duke sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
If you were not around this past weekend, #1 Duke fell to Boston College right here in Massachusetts. As a BC alum, obviously this really tickled my fancy.
I didn't know you were a BC alum.
Shocking. So Duke's now at #4. BC may lead the ACC right now. I don't know. Maybe you can check that. Duke is at the bottom of the ACC. No other ACC teams have played each other. But Jayson Tatum was obviously asked about it after the game. He gave a kind of funny response. Here's that.
I mean, everybody's a Boston College fan with Duke. Everybody. Guys that didn't even, like Banks. Banks is from Australia. Everybody just wants to let us, me and Kyrie know Duke lost, but nobody likes to let us know when we win.
Funny, normal. I did like how he was like, Baines is from Australia, and now he's a BC fan. So very funny there.
Everyone's a BC fan.
Are you a BC fan?
I was when they beat Duke. I agree with that. So, but in general, I might support some other teams, but
I do not. I'm BC through and through. Just want to let everybody know. Gordon Hayward, great news for Celtics fans everywhere. They were very excited when they saw Hayward out at a hospital visit with the Celtics, and the boot is off.
Big news.
Huge news.
Boot watch.
Maybe the news of the week.
Yes.
But I mean, everybody's kind of like, it doesn't mean really anything. It's just like his boot's off.
Yeah, well, and I think it is good news though. It's a positive development. Yeah, and like you said, it's shouldn't read too much into this, but Danny Ainge also had a positive update on Hayward, on Toucher and Rich's weekly radio appearance Thursday. Said he's doing 4 to 5 hours of rehab per day, and he's doing full body strength training. So I think the biggest thing now is he doesn't have to be in that huge boot, and that means he can focus more on his on his development. He can get in the gym, get buff, and get back on the court. And he doesn't have to sit in those chairs. And
do you think he's still shooting from the chair though?
No, I think there is a report he's kind of doing standing shots now. Maybe he's not putting all of his weight on the ankle. It's just kind of short spurts, but I think he's moving on from the chair. So
Good.
we got positive developments.
All right. Well, Marcus Morris, not so positive.
Yeah.
We have no idea really when he's going to be back. He's out. His knee's been kind of the issue all season long. And I said this very early on. I said he was very candid about how much his knee hurt.
Yep.
Where a lot of players try to maybe play it tough and say, oh no, I'll be fine, or I'll play through it. He said, yeah, no, this is the most it's ever hurt, and now we've seen it. So no timetable for his response. The next 3 games for the Celtics are the Jazz, Grizzlies, and Pacers. For you, any of those games where we should be a little bit nervous?
Yeah, I think you look at certainly the Jazz game. They have some pretty good big men, most notably Rudy Gobert in the middle there. So I think Morris helps you stretch out the floor because he can shoot. So I think that's a concern. Grizzlies aren't great. Pacers have been playing pretty well though, so they gave the Thunder a good game the other day. But I thought it was interesting going back to the Morris injury. Danny Ainge also said that he might play. There's no timetable and he might be out for a little while, but he might periodically play in games just to make sure that knee, I guess, doesn't stiffen up too much. So it's interesting, kind of what the issue is with the knee. If it's kind of general soreness, and then you want him to sit out and get better, but also not get too rusty. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. It's going to be something to monitor.
All right, well, from the top team in the East to the top team in the West, the Rockets, they're red hot right now. James Harden, on fire, fear the beard, if you will. If you look at the stat leaders in the NBA, James Harden is the only guy who appears on that sheet more than once. He leads the NBA in scoring 31.6 points per game and 3-pointers made with 113.
Yeah.
Is this the scariest team in the league?
I think right now you have to say yes. I think, if you look at Steph Curry being out for the Warriors, obviously you don't want to take too much into what they're doing right now without Curry. But the Rockets have a really good thing going. It looks like the whole Chris Paul, James Harden experiment is working out. Harden's still getting his. He's still able to be a creator on offense, and he's getting a lot of open looks at 3, obviously. And they just have a great supporting cast. I think you also have Eric Gordon, who's a legit scorer, and then you just basically surround yourself with guys who can shoot the 3. And I think that's kind of been the recipes for success for them this season. I think right now they're at least on offense, they can compete with anybody, and their defense has actually been pretty solid too.
All right, now let's talk about the Spurs, who are definitely a sleeper. Seems like they have all of their, household names back. Kawhi Leonard back in the lineup. He missed basically everything.
Yep.
When we talked with Kaylee Griffin, the reporter for the Spurs, she said, he doesn't speak much, which everybody knows, but he does have some playfulness in him. We'll show you something that he did later on in the show.
Don't mess with him.
No, I would not. I would be very nervous if I was playing him and maybe there was some trash talking.
Yeah.
But he made his season debut on Tuesday night, 13 points and 6 rebounds in 16 minutes. Obviously, he is on minute restriction, but they lost to the Mavs overall. So
yeah.
He helped, though.
Yeah, that was kind of funny that they lose in his game back.
Right.
I think that's look at the Celtics and the Bulls that lost there, and then the Spurs lost to the Mavs. Sometimes those bad teams are almost in greater danger of losing to the bad teams because you play down to your competition. So I think overall they're 8-2 in their last 10 games, and that most of that was with Kawhi out. But now you have Kawhi back, you have Danny Green back. I think once they get the ball rolling a little bit, they're going to be right back up there. Obviously it's tough to compete with the Warriors and Rockets, but they'll be right below them.
All right, well, Paul George returned to Indiana for the first time with the Thunder.
Yes, very entertaining.
There was a big question, I think, on NBA.com before the game that was it'll be interesting to see who's the winner and loser here. Did he make the right decision? Is he in the right spot? Is he the winner? Last night didn't really look that way. He anticipated that he was going to get booed, which definitely happened. But overall, during the performance,
yeah, it was interesting because he gets booed and then he comes out and he's playing really bad. You know, he actually finished the game with only 12 points, 3 of 14 shooting. But then the tide started to turn a little bit, and is actually OKC's bench that stepped up, or a lot of the role players. You know, Carmelo and Russell Westbrook also struggled. But, you know, the entire team kind of rallied around him. Steven Adams had a really big game. And then fast forward to the end of the game where, you know, the Thunder pull it out and Paul George is shushing the fans and you know, in Indiana. Yeah. So I think it favored George there. The tide kind of turned a little bit.
It was
at
like
least
a
in that
movie.
Game. Yeah.
It's the drama of it all.
I love the drama of the NBA.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, we talk about the Pacers, though, with that trade. I think Victor Oladipo has been playing really well for the Pacers. So I think not as bad as some people might have, you know, the trade isn't as bad as some people might have expected.
Right. Well, in other NBA news, the All-Star Game for 2021 has been selected. It is going to be in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
They chose Indianapolis over Cleveland.
Maybe because they know LeBron's not going to be there, right?
You are such a conspiracy theorist.
Well, 2021, maybe, you know, I think he's going to be in, who knows, maybe LA by then, but he won't be in Cleveland.
Well, they're going to try again, obviously, for 2022. And when I saw it, it was like, this just plays so into Kyrie Irving's whole, like, oh, I'm glad I'm in a sports city. Like, that didn't help the
with Cleveland? Yeah, not too hot.
No.
No.
But that's really all we have to say about that. It's news in the NBA, so there you go.
Yep.
And another guy who's always in the news in the NBA, Lavar Ball. And the Lakers did have a meeting. The Lakers basically said, stop.
Be quiet.
Yeah. I mean, he's constantly talking about Luke Walton.
Yeah, and it's all on the record, too. So I think
it's not good.
Yeah, you know, that's... Maybe that'll fly in your high school gym when you're, you know, bad math in the high school coach.
But even that is a bad look.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad look at any level, but when it's the NBA, you know, these people are being paid.
Yeah.
So that's where you get into the issue. Like, you know, you can't really meddle in their affairs like that.
Right. Well, ESPN and the LA Times both reported it. Lavar said, it was a good conversation. What I love about Magic Johnson is just the communication that we have as a family, and as friends, to the situation. They're just all about solutions, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he goes on and on. He's like, the media is going to end up portraying this differently than what it is. No, we're not. I mean, that's what happened. They asked you to stop talking about it. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still going to find other outlets to get his voice out. You know, he's still going to have, like, the TMZ interviews outside the locker room. I don't think, or maybe not outside the locker, outside of the stadium. He's, you know, but I think maybe he'll take the message a little bit, and, you know, who knows? He might be more focused on his other two children who are now in Lithuania, trying to make it on the international circuit. So he's got a lot of things on his plate right now. If
you don't know anything about Lithuania, I would like you to go to Nesson.com's Twitter page, @Nesson.
Yes.
Because we did do a video to give you all the fun facts about Lithuania and where the Ball brothers are going to go be playing.
Nice little country, Lithuania.
Yeah, looks beautiful. Looks very picturesque.
Yeah. Maybe during the summertime. It's a little cold in the winter right here.
That it is. All right, winners and losers of the week. I will go first. My winner, Gordon Hayward, out of boot. Duh, that is a no-brainer that he is the winner of the week. I mean, yeah, we're in Boston, so, like, obviously, we're probably going to go with that. But
I agree with that. I have no qualms with that.
Yeah, comeback story of the week. The loser of the week.
Yeah. Are you going with yours?
I'm going with mine.
Okay.
Is LeBron James.
Oh, no.
There is an interview where we can't show because we don't have the rights, but he basically talks about how he is a superhero, how he can see plays happen before they happen, and that his teammates know this, and it's a gift that he's been given.
Yeah, he's got some telepathic powers.
And the thing is I actually am not a LeBron James hater. I think a lot of people in Boston are. I'm not. I actually really enjoyed him and thought he was great when he was here during the playoffs. He's very kind and nice and respectful to media. He just says things sometimes where I just can't. And I know that's such a basic girl thing to say. Like, I just can't
even.
I'm sure producer Andre is, like, chuckling, like, oh, basic Courtney just said this. Yeah. But it's true. He says things, and he believes them about himself, and he's very serious about it. Just say, he's good at basketball. We all know that. You can't see plays before they actually happen unless you're Clark Kent.
Well, it's funny because there is some kernel of truth to what he's saying. Like he is a very good vision on the court. He's I think earlier in the season he said how he kind of knows what everyone is doing. Like he knows what the center is doing. He knows what the guard's doing. He knows what this guy's doing. So there's some kernel of truth like that, but it's just the way he presents it, and I think there is some truth to that.
No, I agree. He is probably the best basketball player out there, but
I know it's the delivery.
It's the delivery
that
just grinds my gears.
That's what you get with LeBron.
Go to Fox Sports Ohio to see what we're talking about there. We can't show it, but he basically says he can see plays before they happen. Like he says he can actually see them, which is you can't. So
seeing is believing.
Sorry.
He must have had some great conversations with Kyrie Irving, LeBron talking about how he can see things before they happen. Kyrie with his conspiracy theories. That must have been
a
loads
delight.
Of fun. Yeah.
All right, so now your turn, winners and losers.
All right, the winner. I have Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, wasn't he our winner last week too?
I don't know. Oh, was he yours?
He was mine.
Well,
yeah.
this was for different reasons. So he captured the attention of an Instagram model with his play on the court. So this was Wednesday night at Madison Square Garden against the Lakers. Drops 37 points, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks, and we got Jen Selter there, who is an Instagram model. I don't know much more.
Sure, you don't.
Outside of that, but you see the little the unicorn emoji there. That is.
They are going on a date tomorrow.
You think so?
Oh, a trillion million %. There's no way they're not.
Yeah, and she was actually at the game. She tweeted while she was at the game, so she got a front row seat.
Then maybe he got her the ticket.
Kristaps definitely knew that she was there. Decided to put on a little show, and he did. So you know what? Good for him.
Do you think that maybe, let's actually talk about it.
Oh.
Did he leave the tickets or did he slide into the DMs after?
I don't know. So yeah, I don't know what the situation is, whether she lives in New York or was in New York, and just it's pretty easy for someone to go to a Knicks game if you have enough money, right? But maybe Kristaps did hook her up with the tickets. Who knows? That's not my area of expertise.
I smell a little bit of a flirtation dating scene.
I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah.
I wouldn't hate it either.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, right. Good at basketball too.
Yeah, not bad.
Someone who's not been good at basketball recently and has taken some heat for it, my loser, is Chandler Parsons. So this goes back to kind of late November. He got ripped by Steven Jackson, kind of coming out of left field after. So David Fizdale got fired from the Grizzlies. Chandler Parsons on the Grizzlies. Steven Jackson basically saying the Grizzlies are soft. Chandler Parsons is soft, overpaid basically. Chandler Parsons tried to fire back, say, hey man, everyone in the NBA is cool, we're cool, right? And Steven Jackson was not having any of it. And then we go fast forward to Wednesday. Chandler Parsons, I don't believe we can show this video, but he got absolutely stuffed by John Wall, who is the great picture there from producer Marc. Good catch on that. But yeah, that's John Wall, a point guard, stuffing Chandler Parsons at the rim.
Fired up.
Went for the one-handed dunk, just sold out for it, and got absolutely swatted. I think he finished with 9 points. The Grizzlies lost again. So Chandler Parsons, not having a great time right now.
Absolutely. All right, social media, our favorite part.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a joke here at Nesson where we should do a segment called Courtney's Cries. I cry probably once a day, usually happy tears.
Same.
I could see you as an emotional guy, Darren. This one did bring a tear to my eye. I just thought this was so nice. Kevin Durant signing his shoes for a young player. We can't show the actual video, but we have some pictures of it. The thing I loved about it, so he's obviously crying there. Also, sorry if you are listening to this and can't see what we're talking about. You've probably seen it on social media, though.
He is crying.
When Kevin Durant is actually signing the shoes, he holds it together. The kid is smiley and I'm sure he's shaking, but it's when he walks away that the emotions hit. Mm-hmm. And I love it. Everything about it, I had tears in my eyes. I just thought it was great.
You see it in real time. That's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, we have Kawhi Leonard here. We mentioned that we might have something involving Kawhi, and this is pretty scary. He apparently learned karate while he was sitting out. So we have a little video of him chopping up some boards like they're little bits of paper.
Stay tuned. We got stuff cooking up in here. Gonna chop y'all up. Look at all of us. Karate style. Chop it up.
Yeah, he's coming over the boards.
I'm
and
scared. Bam.
Yeah. Watch this third one, though.
Like,
He doesn't even, like, it's just a flick of the wrist, basically. So, yeah, he's apparently a black belt master now, and you know,
So
he's
beware.
already like the best defender in the league, has really like wide wingspan, great hands, but now he can chop you into 2 pieces, so that's good.
that was a PSA announcement for him to other players.
Yeah, to the rest of the NBA.
Yeah.
Do not trash talk
Do not.
Kawhi Leonard.
Another guy who's had
Speaking of trash talking,
a lot of social media presence during the rebound, Joel Embiid took to his Instagram to post a fine photo. It's more so the caption, Euro-stepping our way through Minnesota and we ended up raising the cat last night, hashtag the process. But it's if you zoom in that
Raising
things
the
really
cat.
get great. Carl Towns Anthony Towns.
Carl
I
Anthony
always hate
Towns.
that.
Yeah.
The caption was as trash as your picture quality, which I do have to say, like you're an NBA player, you could probably find a USA
The caption
Today
was a little
image.
corny too, but the clapback from Embiid was great.
Yep, better quality than your defense.
Embiid 28 points, big night for him. Towns only had 19, and the Sixers won too. So I think Embiid gets the win there. I have to say it.
Carl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Impressive to just like throw it out there though.
Yeah.
You know everyone's gonna see it.
Mm-hmm.
I like a nice back and forth.
Yeah. Like we talked about this many times, but the battles aren't confined to the court in the
No.
NBA. They
No,
go
they're
well
not.
onto social media pretty much weekly.
No, they're not. Fire shoes in the next one.
Yes, fire shoes.
I would wear these.
Kyrie Irving with the lobster shoes, maybe shouting out the Maine Red Claws. I don't know if that's a
Oh.
situation, but
I didn't even think of that.
That's my
That's-
speculation. The Celtics D-League team, but some great blue on that.
I would wear
I like
those.
I like the hue.
Yeah.
The blue hue, and then you have little lobsters on the side. So, yeah, those are awesome. I'm sure they're going to probably sell those, and I would love a pair. So
I would too. Christmas is right around the corner,
That's
so
right.
maybe
Yeah.
we should
Nike sent
both
some
get
pairs
them.
over.
If anybody's watching who wants to buy Darren and I Christmas presents, there you go.
Yep, that's what we want.
And last but certainly not least, LeBron
Yeah.
live tweeting.
Yeah, this was during the Browns-Packers game. So the Browns look like they're on the verge of maybe beating the Packers for their first win. And then things go wrong, and LeBron, as you can see, is trying to tweet through it. He's not happy. The Browns ended up losing in overtime. Devontae Adams, a touchdown pass to seal it, or a touchdown catch, I should say. There's interception by Deshaun Kaiser down the stretch. It was just a classic Browns collapse. LeBron James, who is also a Cowboys fan and fan of a few other NFL teams, but the Browns should be his team because he's from Cleveland. And this was kind of sad.
Very sad. And when I said last but certainly not least, that was a lie because it's actually
Second to
another
last.
great one. This is a kid who just got into Harvard and
16 years old.
16 years old, and his classmates are all there. This is another Courtney's Cries. Take a look. And
Oh
listen.
man, boy had the same problem
No,
last
they
year with
have
Harvard.
status on the side. He was just on the introduction. He got to click status. Look, you see it? Yeah. View update. Or that.
Oh. He's in a Harvard sweatshirt, which is like, bold move by him. Can you imagine if he clicked
respect
it
it.
and didn't get it and he's in a Harvard sweatshirt? But it's so nice to see all of them getting excited, and even cooler that a famous Harvard alum basketball player, yes, Jeremy Lin, tweeting at him, this is legit. Congrats.
Yeah.
Great to see. Imagine that. You're
I know.
16 and Jeremy Lin sending you a tweet saying congrats. You're getting into Harvard anyway, so there's a lot to be happy
Yeah,
about.
things. The needle's pointing up for him. Also love that haircut for Jeremy Lin. His hairstyle has changed a little bit since then.
Fun fact, Jeremy Lin and I used to live in the same apartment complex when I lived in Charlotte.
Wow, that is.
I used
fun
to
fact.
be like running into the elevator, and then he'd be I'm like, oh,
Huh,
Jeremy Lin.
That's
Hi.
pretty cool.
Yeah, fun
We
fact.
should get him on the show.
We never spoke, so
Okay. Well, we'll
probably
work
not.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, we will. All right, well, that will do it for this week of The Rebound. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. A lot of great stories, I'm sure, right around the corner. But make sure to keep it locked in, Nesson.com. We will have everything you need to know in the meantime. And if you want to follow along on Twitter, at Darren_Hartwell, or myself, at Cox Courtney. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again. Also, happy third day of Hanukkah.
That's right.
I should have said that off the bat. So yeah.
Third day out of 8. We're right in the middle right now.
Right in the middle.
The home stretch of Hanukkah.
There you go.
Yep.
All right.
Christmas
Thanks.
right around the corner.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.